Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is The Ramsey Show. It's where you hang out, America, to talk about your life, specifically your money, your profession, and your relationships. Alongside the incomparable, the inimitable Jade Warshaw, I'm Ken Coleman, and we are here for you this hour. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225 is the number. Are you ready to go? You're in your spring corduroy.
Yes, I am.
I like this.
It is. Spring has sprung
in the
Nashville area.
All right. That means we got a little extra energy for you folks today. Jade's going to help out on how to save, how to invest the money, and I'll help out on how to make more money. So it's quite a combo, if I do say so myself. We start off with Darlene in Missoula, Montana. Darlene, how can we help today?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I called in on the show just to try to see what kind of help we could get and guidance in regards to my other half has been hiding some things financially, and I'm having difficulties with that and trying to get to communicate with him to resolve so we don't lose our house.
Uh-oh.
What happened? Is this a new revelation?
Well, he's always not been real good with money, but, I mean, he does try his best, and even though we're just engaged, we don't have our finances together. He pays his things on his own, and I pay things on my own. We've never really sat down and gone over our finances with each other, but it's just he's got himself in a predicament. And
well, but hold on a second. I asked you this, and you kind of feels like you went a different direction. I asked you, is this a recent revelation that he's not been honest with you? I love that your finances are separate. They should be. That's exactly what we would tell you if you asked us that. You aren't married yet. So my question is this something new that you have found out, and how'd you find out?
Well, I have to say yes and no. I know he's not been that great with money, but to this extent is new. How I found out, I'll try to keep it short, but you know how you have Uconnect with your vehicles, and I was pulling up in our driveway from running an errand, and his phone actually connected. He was on the line with, I guess, some loan agent from his loan company, and I heard something about a forbearance or a deferment. And so I sat in the driveway and tried to listen as long as I could, and then the call disconnected, and then I came in and went downstairs and confronted him, and even though I confronted him on this, he still continued to lie about how far behind he was.
Okay. All right. Well, that's all. Thanks for sharing that. That helps Jade and I in trying to encourage you, because this is less about him lying about the finances. This is just about him lying. So we've got money problems, and you guys are about ready to tie the knot. When is the big day?
We haven't really set a date, to be honest with you. I've been comfortable with just the engagement the way that it is, and I want things to be more stable.
All right. So how can we help you? So now we've got a good idea of what's going on, and I'm troubled. If I could play Big Brother for a moment, I'm concerned because this is a real problem. We know that financial issues cause a lot of marriage stress. Number one, it's well documented, and then number two, there's dishonesty here, and so I'm very concerned. So how can we help you best today? What can we do?
Well, I mean, I obviously don't expect any type of relationship or marriage counseling. I do know I'm good with money. I think everybody can always be better with money. What I want to do is to be able to get him to sit down and to be completely honest about finances in general. No matter how bad it is, we really need to get to the root of the problem and to be able to sit down and look at his finances, my finances.
I agree.
Well,
and to try to be able to rectify.
What happened when you confronted him? Because and depending how the confrontation went, it feels like that would have been a time to kind of come clean with everything. Did he not? What happened when you confronted him?
When I confronted him and he knew that I heard the conversation on the phone, I tried to sit and Google in front of him what deferments were and what forbearances were, just to educate myself and
because you weren't sure.
Figure out exactly, and to try to figure out what he was actually doing and what his plan was. And when I started reading off and trying to figure out whether forbearances is added onto the back of your loan to the end of your loan, or if it's a balloon payment, and I looked at him and I said, well, forbearances say that you have to be 4 months behind. I said, you just said you were a little bit behind.
And what did he say to that?
he said, no, I don't want to be that far behind at all. Well, then there was another lie. He was already 4 months behind.
Okay, so let me ask this, because there's two things that I'm sensing going on. Number one, your boy was caught in a lie. And you probably came in hot and heavy. I would too. Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't have. I would have been like, say what? So I understand that you probably came in there really strong. And so for some personalities, that's like shutdown mode. Like, it's like, I like the cartoons. So he might have just been trying to get through the situation, which is probably why he wasn't giving more information. That's thing number one. But did you guys come back later on in calmness and be like, okay, let's sit down and talk because here's what's gone on? And when that happened, what could you derive from that? Because it is possible. People don't always know. When people don't know what's going on with their money and they get behind, sometimes they're still like, okay, what's going on? How many months in it? He might not even understand it. So have you guys sat down now calmly to talk through everything that's going on?
We have a few times, yes. It's been little conversations, and when it kind of gets a little bit more heated, we step aside a little bit and take another day and then sit down and look at it again, so we both don't get so upset or he doesn't feel attacked or any more ashamed, and he says he feels like a failure. And
okay. So you guys are talking about it, and it kind of does. I mean, you can jump in here. It does kind of sound like what I would expect a situation like this to sound like, because contrary to popular belief, money stuff is not a light switch. Like, it's not one conversation and over. It does tend to spread into many conversations that have a life of their own, because the truth is he has made a mistake. I'm not trying to sugarcoat that, but there's a lot of shame around the choices that people make with money. And so it can take a while to really be able to talk about it in a way. And I think what you're saying seems right. You talk about it a while. When it gets too hot and heavy, you cool it down, you come back to it later. Like that, what you're describing really does sound like you're on the right track. And what I would be listening for is, as long as you don't feel like he's still hiding things, then I think that you're on the right track. And this is just something that you guys are going to uncover, and it's going to be a continued journey. Yeah.
However, I agree with all of that, but I think this ought to be premarital counseling.
Yeah. Yes.
Because you actually need a professional who can help you navigate his feelings. His feelings are very real, and as a result, very powerful. In other words, there's a lot of shame. What I heard is he's ashamed. Yeah. And he needs to know that you aren't judging him. He needs to know that you aren't holding an ultimatum over his head, but that you don't feel safe because of the way he does money. And this is about us moving forward, having a healthy and prosperous marriage, not what you've done now or what you're dealing with. I'll help you. I'll dive in going forward. Hey, babe, I'll handle the finances and you don't have to worry about it because it's my thing. It's my jam. Like, that has to be facilitated through a real marriage pro. And I could not recommend, I think your next steps are, hey, we're doing this for us so that there's no judgment. Sit with me in there. They'll keep me in check so that I don't shame you.
Facts,
Come at it that angle and just say, please do this for us. And it's going to be okay. No shame, no nothing, no condemnation. I think that's the play, but I do believe that this is premarital counseling. This is not a money issue right now. It could be, but it's actually not. And that's why I would do that. So thanks for the call, Darlene. Thanks for trusting us. I think it's going to be okay if you approach it that way and you guys stick through the therapy. Quick break. We'll be right back. This is The Ramsey Show.
I've been doing this show for over 30 years, and some of the saddest calls I've taken are from situations that are completely preventable.
Yeah, and what's so hard is I feel like one of those, especially the ones that I'm like, oh, it's terrible, are people that call in and their spouse has passed away suddenly and they don't have life insurance. We actually took a question of a lady, and she had 3 kids, pregnant, and husband didn't have life insurance. And I'm like, I can't even imagine. Or even if it was opposite, right? If a mom passed away, there's a dad with kids and trying to figure out, how am I going to afford childcare? How do I outsource some stuff that maybe she was doing? Like, and it just takes the grief and the sadness of something like a sudden death to a whole new level. Like, when you have to think through, how am I going to pay my bills?
How am I going to eat next week?
Yeah, in the middle of all that grief. Like, it's terrible. And so life insurance is the one thing, especially as a mom with 3 little kids, that I'm like so big on for people to get because it's inexpensive. Xander is the place that Winston and I actually get all of our life insurance. And we keep re-upping it because I'm like, I just want it there. Like, there's something about that safety of knowing that you have money if something suddenly happens.
And it doesn't cost much because Xander shops among a gazillion different companies. It doesn't cost much. You just have to admit that someday you're not going to be here. You got to say it out loud, and you got to say, I'm going to say I love you to my family by taking care of them and taking the time to put this stuff in place. The cost of stinking pizza.
It really is. So that is one thing to do, to say I love you to your family.
So we've used Xander for all of our family's needs for insurance for many years, including, of course, term life insurance. To get a free quote, go to 800-356-4282. That's 800-356-4282, or go to Xander.com.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. So glad you're with us today, America. Alongside Jade Warshaw, I'm Ken Coleman, and we're here to coach you up. 888-825-5225. That's the phone number. Sarah's going to join us now in Atlanta, Georgia. Sarah, how can we help today?
Hi, yes, sir. I'm 56 years old, and first of all, thank you for taking my call.
You bet.
I'm 56 years old, and I have 4 grandchildren that I am now raising.
Oh, my.
I was in a perfectly good situation before I got the kids. I had, money in the bank. I was working for an airline, and I was doing really well. And I got the call, either come and get the kids or they're going to stay.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, no.
So, needless to say, I came back.
Oh.
And I had to spend everything I had.
Yeah.
And I took the kids, got a place as quick as I could, because I gave up everything to travel. My husband passed away. My mom passed away. So it was like it was only me, you know?
Yeah.
So here I'm going to live my life. And so I had to come back. And I had to try to get a home. I had to try to get the furniture. I had to try to get, and I was getting all this to keep them out of the system.
Sure.
And now it's been 5 years, and I am like broke. I don't know what to do.
Oh, Sarah. Well, first of all, you're such an amazing grandma. I'm telling you. You stepped up, and we're going to help you. So give us the scenario. Where are you at?
Okay.
Where are you financially? Or did you accrue any debt?
A lot.
Okay. Walk us through that.
I went from having $63,000 in the bank and was going to put more, as I was traveling.
Sure.
But all that's gone because I had to get a lawyer, I had to get the house, I had to get furniture, I had, and
Sure.
it was just I spent it all. Okay.
I get it. It's okay. We want to get you out of this. What's your debt?
I went from that.
Real quick,
Go
Sarah,
ahead.
tell me, where did you used to live? Where did you travel from? And where do you live now?
I live in Georgia now.
Uh-huh.
And when they called me, I was in Paris.
Paris.
So I had
France.
Paris, France. Yeah,
Oh,
but I
holy
was
moly.
traveling. Yeah,
Okay.
I didn't live anywhere.
She
I
didn't
was
have a home.
traveling.
Got
Right.
you. Okay. I was confused about that. So now you're in Atlanta. How old are these kids?
These kids, the youngest is 6. Then there's 8-year-old identical twin boys, and then a 12-year-old little girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she's got a ways to
that's
go.
Whew.
Now, do you have full custody of them now, and all that's
I
settled?
do.
So
Yes, all that's settled. And,
Okay. All right.
And now it's all on me. So I'm mama,
Okay.
basically.
All right,
I'm
What
mama.
are you doing for work? You're not doing the travel agent thing anymore.
No, I can't. I was working with a local company, and then they let me go. So I went from having around $4,300 in income down. I mean, from $6,500 having income down to $4,300, and this is where I lost it. This is where I'm like losing everything because I don't have enough.
So what are you doing now? for work?
Pet sitting. I'm doing pet sitting. I go to people's houses and pet sit. The reason I don't do a regular 9-to-5 type job is these kids are special needs.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that why you lost your job before?
That is the reason why I lost my job.
Okay. So you're in Georgia. Is there anybody? It's just you and these kids? There's no other family? You mentioned your mom passed.
Yeah.
Okay.
No other family. It's just me.
And how many of the kids have special needs?
All 4.
Okay.
They were born on drugs.
Oh, bless their heart. And so a lot of medical stuff still going on?
A lot of medical and a lot of emotional behavioral.
Okay.
And so where's most of your money going? Is it for therapy and the medical stuff? I'm guessing that's extremely expensive.
Yes, they do get Medicaid. Thank goodness for that.
Okay.
That does help.
Okay.
But most of the money now, since I had to get a mortgage, it goes to the mortgage, and I had to get, the mortgage right now is off the chain. So
what is it?
The mortgage,
what is the mortgage?
I do a 6.25% now, and my mortgage is $1,748 a month. That's most of it right there.
And is it a house?
Just the mortgage. Yes, it is a house.
Okay.
Whereabouts?
Actually, I'm in southwest area, Georgia.
Yeah. And the reason I'm asking because I know that area very well. I lived down there for a long time, so I was just curious. So you're south of the airport.
I am. Yes, yeah. I am. Near Albany.
Okay, gotcha. All right. All right, let's walk through the debts really quick because we don't have a ton of time left, and we're going to get you some help here. But let's give Jade a quick snapshot of your total debt. We know the house. Well, let's just quickly get that. How much is the house worth today? Do you have any idea versus what you owe?
It's worth $235,000. And I owe $217,000.
Okay, so you don't have much there. Okay, and now go through the rest of your debts, smallest to largest.
Credit card debt, I got several of those. All of them together is around $6,100. I pay $385 a month.
Okay.
Furniture bills, I pay $847 a month.
Is that a one-time purchase, the furniture bill? You just put it on a loan, or is it something that's like a rent-to-own deal?
It's sort of like a rent-to-own deal.
Okay, how do we get out of that? Because what are you paying a month?
$847.
Okay.
$847 a month.
Now, is there a way to get out of that? Because that's going to be a you're going to be in that forever if we don't get out of it now. And that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's another year on it.
You can't get out of it?
$847 a month. I don't know how.
Okay, that's your homework. One of the things that I want you to do getting off of this call is to find out how I can get off of this, because this for a whole another year is a lot of money. I'd rather you just go over to Walmart and make it happen for $847 in 1 month than to continue paying this. How much furniture does that include?
All the beds, the couches, the kitchen table, it includes everything in the house. I had to get something, so this is how I did it.
And then after the year, you'll own it?
Yes.
Okay.
It's $5,229 total to pay it off.
Okay, keep going down the debt. What else do you have?
I have... basically, that's all the debts is the furniture bill and the credit cards, and then my stupid butt got some payday loans. I'm going to work on getting those.
What do you owe on the payday loans?
$2,400 total.
Okay.
$1,320 a month.
Okay, so yeah, you're right. Those payday loans, those will suck the life out of you. So I want those at the very, very top of the list. Do whatever you can to get those things out. I really, really want, and I know that this doesn't happen overnight, but if you find the right folks, it can. I really want you to get plugged in a church or into some community, because you can't do this alone. Mm-mm. You are running on fumes already. So you've got to get somewhere, and you've got to tell your story.
That's right.
And you've got to let people hear what's going on, people who care. I want you to get to a local church. I want you to get plugged into a life group. Mm-hmm. And I want you to start saying what's going on, because anybody else that hears that is going to go, if you came into my life group today, I'd be like, what can I do instantly? 100%. Do you see what I'm saying? So getting people around you is paramount to making this work. Okay.
Right.
And by the way, because we're running out of time, I want to set her up, Christian, with one of our financial coaches, please. Let's get it. Let's gift her a session so that there's just a little bit more time, and they can help you with a plan, because we just cannot cover all of this in the small time we have with you. Secondly, Christian, you've done this before. Also, let's figure out what churches we know in the area
and get her
where
in
she
there.
lives specifically. We will also make some connections to this church for you, or churches. And I cannot say what Jade said is absolutely the number one thing you got to do right now. Now, the coach will help you. Our coach, financial coach, will help you and come up with a game plan. But you got to go tell your story, because people's hearts will break with yours, and you will get help. You got to be okay to say, I need help.
Yeah.
No shame in your game, Sarah. You stepped up.
Okay.
You did what you did.
Yep.
No one's judging you, including us.
Everybody just wants
Gotta
to
have
help.
some help.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hang on the line. Christian's amazing. He'll take good care of you, Sarah. Help is on the way. Keep your chin up. There's a plan. This is The Ramsey Show.
What does the future hold for business? Ask 9 experts and you'll get 10 different answers. Economic growth or a recession. Business taxes will go up or down. AI will help us work, or it will replace us all. But there's no such thing as a crystal ball. That's why more than 40,000 businesses have future-proofed themselves with NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud enterprise resource planning system. Ramsey Solutions uses NetSuite, and you should too. Whether your company's earning millions or even hundreds of millions, NetSuite helps you respond to immediate challenges and seize your biggest opportunities. With one unified business management suite, there's only one source of truth for the visibility and control you need to make quick decisions. NetSuite's real-time insights and forecasting help you see into the future with actionable data. And when you're closing the books in days, not weeks, you can spend less time looking backward and more time focusing on what's next. And speaking of what's next, download the CFO's Guide to AI and Machine Learning at netsuite.com/Ramsey. It's free at netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken. Coleman Jade Warshaw is alongside. 888-825-5225 is the phone number to jump in. All right, it is possible to break the cycle you've been stuck in. I'm just telling you, it's possible. It might seem as though you're just never going to get out of it, but it is possible. And we're talking about your money and your relationships. There's such a tie there. Dave Ramsey and Dr. John Deloney are hitting the road to show you how to break out of the cycle. It's called the Money and Relationships Tour. They're going to talk about raising great kids, handling money fights, making real friends, and more. This is the turning point you've been looking for, and the time is running out. The dates are Louisville on April 21, Durham, North Carolina on April 23, Atlanta, Georgia, April 25, Phoenix, Arizona on May 5, Fort Worth on May 7, Kansas City on May 9th. RamseySolutions.com/tour is where you get the tickets. Or if you're watching on YouTube or listening via your favorite podcast app, click the link in the show notes. It's the Money and Relationship Tour. Dave Ramsey, Dr. John Deloney coming to a city maybe near you. So go check out the details and get your tickets now. Colton is up in Denver, Colorado. Colton, how can we help?
Hey, Mr. Coleman. Hi, Mrs. Warshaw. How are you guys doing today?
Well,
Wonderful.
I just feel about 15 years older now.
It was very formal.
Mr. Coleman and Mr. Warshaw with you today, folks. We're here to take care of business. What's going on, Colton? How can we help? We appreciate the respect.
Yeah.
Jade feels she doesn't know what to do with that.
This is wonderful. First lady.
Yeah.
Y'all deserve it. I've been following Dave Ramsey from the student program that I took back in high school back in 2016.
Okay. All right.
So I was wondering, if I can afford to go on a vacation to Japan next year.
Ooh, I love these questions.
I particularly like this question because, full disclosure, Japan is on my top 5 list of places to go.
Interesting.
That I've not been.
Okay.
So I'm a little interested in this.
All right,
Colton, how much is it going to cost?
Well, I've been budgeting for it. I'm looking at it and planning on taking it October of next year.
Okay.
So I got some time to save for it and budget for it, and I'm estimating the cost to be around $4K.
$4K. All right.
Okay.
And do you have any debt?
Nope. I paid off my truck last year in July, and I have about $15,000 in savings right now, and I estimate that to be about $35,000 in savings.
Is that your emergency fund?
That is my emergency fund. That is everything.
And so what is a fully funded emergency fund as we define it, 3 to 6 months? What's that for you?
Mm-hmm. For me, so I still live at home currently. I'm moving out in July, and I estimate my expenses to be about $2,100 a month to $2,400 a month.
Okay, so you've already got, so the $15,000 is a fully funded emergency fund and then some for you.
Yes.
And you're going to be able to cash flow between now and next October easily the $4,000 to cover the trip. Yes or no?
Yes, I should be able to, but I'm also wondering if it's too much of my net worth, because $4,000 relative to $35,000 is a good chunk of money.
Yeah.
But that's not. We don't have a net worth calculator as your vacation. The bottom line is, do you have any debt? The answer is no. And do you have a fully funded emergency fund? Yes.
How long's the trip?
You're investing 15% of your income into retirement?
Haven't started investing yet. My company doesn't do a 401k match, and I'm still just bulking up to move out, and that's why I've been saving probably about 70% of my take-home.
Here's my deal. I'll get out of the way and cede my time to my financial expert partner over here. I just see no issue with you coming up with $4,000, even if you're investing 15%, which you need to be doing. You coming up with $4,000 between now and October 2026.
That's no problem.
Is a non-issue, my man. So I would say go to Japan.
How long's the trip?
Me and my friend are still working that out. He's coming along too, also paying all cash, so he'll be good to go.
Doesn't that have to do with your work? Like, how does that conflict with your work is all I'm asking.
You know what? Thankfully, my job offers me generous amounts of PTO.
Okay.
And I do mean generous amounts of PTO. I have 24 days to burn this year.
So your only question then was just, your only issue was net worth. Like, hey, is this too big of a piece of my net worth to do this?
Yeah.
No. It's not.
No. Okay.
No, and you only live once, bro. The fact that you're paying cash for this.
Yeah. You're young. How old are you?
I'm 24. I'll be about to turn 26 by the time we take the trip in October. My birthday's end of October, so
okay, so
I'll be turning 26.
My only caveat is I would be moved out of my parents' house before I went and did this. Like, to me, at your age, that's really important. And so I would not want this trip to push me from not doing that. That would be my only piece to this.
No, it's not going to push me from that. I'm moving out in July. I'm moving out to a college town, not to go back to school. That's just where I want to live. It's going to be Laramie, Wyoming, and, that's where my expenses and rent fits in where I want to live.
Do it.
So,
all right, so listen, I'm going to preview my talk on the Ramsey cruise.
What talk? What's it about?
I'm about to tell you. It's the answer to why he's calling in.
Okay.
My talk is, for decades, Dave has said, live like no one else.
Uh-huh.
That's the baby steps.
Yeah.
So that later you can live like no one else. And then he eventually added, and give like no one else.
Right.
Okay. But living like no one else, but the crux of my talk, because all these people on the cruise are baby step 4 and higher.
Facts.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Is don't get to the end of your life after you're doing all this hard work to live like no one else and not actually live like no one else, which means when you're 24 and debt free,
come on,
going to Japan for $4,000 because you can, and you come back with a great experience and no stress. That's living like no one else.
Is our talk the same? Because I feel like I'm talking about the same. I'm talking about being in your spending era. And my guy is in his spending era.
I'm not talking about the money part. I'm going to say, on the other side of all this hustle, now we go from intensity to tensionality, and let's talk about the regrets of the dying. I'm going to share the regrets.
The regrets of the dying.
What we know from tons of studies on it.
Tell us some of them. Can you?
I won't give the whole talk, but I didn't live true to myself. Like I tried to please everybody else.
Oh man, yeah.
I didn't spend enough time with friends. I didn't spend enough time with family, like these type of things. And so I'm going to equate it to, now that you have financial peace, what does living like nobody else look like? And I'm going to actually spin.
I love that.
I'm going to flip the regrets. So
I love that so much.
Instead of a regret, I'm going to go, here's the flip side to this regret. And I'm going to name it. And now that you have the money and the freedom to pursue this, get to the end of your life and reminisce, not regret. That's the final.
That's very good.
So I would say, Colton, I believe in this so much. That's the talk I'm doing, essentially. And I think at 24, being debt-free, if you don't go to Japan, it's the type of thing you might regret one day. And none of us are promised tomorrow. So while I'm living, this is from the Broadway show, Redwood, with Idina Menzel that Stacey and I just saw. There's a song and there's a lyric in the song that says, live while you're living.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and borrow that. I probably botched that lyric.
I'm with you. I thought you were going to Sinatra.
No, I just think that when I'm living, live.
Yeah, that's right.
Live. And I think this meets all of the requirements for us saying, Davis said for years, don't let your vacation come home with you.
I agree. Yeah.
By putting it on a credit card.
But he's got the money, and why wait? I think what you're saying is so smart and so true. We see that with home buying. We see it with vacations. It's kind of like people are gun shy to actually, like you said, live. And I'm like, you have the moment, take it. People only want your time. They only want to suck things from you and take things from you. People rarely will push you to do those things. Yeah. There'll always be an excuse like why you got to work more, why you can't go, why you can't do it. Just go.
This is my new qualifier, Colton, Jay, and everybody else. When given an opportunity, I sit there and I think, is this something that if I'm an 85-year-old man in my final days that I'm going to look back on and go, I wish I had done that.
Man, I tell you what, I'm glad that my talk comes before yours because they're kind of similar.
Hey, if there's karaoke on the cruise, will you sing that song you just talked about on the cruise?
Ken.
If Jade works with me on it, like she's got to make sure that I can get all the keys.
Me.
Yeah. She's a pro. If she coaches me, sure. Maybe does a duet with me.
I don't know. Based on the last time we heard you sing,
if I could do like a Kirk Franklin version, like Kurt never actually sings, but he surrounds himself with great singers. That's more me. Well, I say a couple lines with some
okay.
While you're singing. This is the Ramsey Show.
Hey, you guys, I'm not a fan of the big banks, and you probably already know which ones I mean. But I do like credit unions because they're nonprofit organizations that focus on their members. And I'm proud to endorse Fair Winds Credit Union because they share the Ramsey mission of helping people get out of debt and live generously. In fact, they design products to help keep you from going into debt in the first place. Fair Winds has been in business for over 75 years, and they serve hundreds of thousands of members worldwide. You can feel secure because your deposits are federally insured by the NCUA up to $250,000. It's easy to join, and Fair Winds partners with more than 5,000 credit union locations around the country, so you can bank in person wherever you live. But if you prefer the online experience, you can log on to Fairwinds and do anything you could do at a physical location. So go to fairwinds.org/Ramsey to learn more. And while you're there, look at the combined checking and savings account bundle they created just for Ramsey fans to help you take control of your finances. That's Fairwinds, FAIRWINDS.org/Ramsey.
Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken. Coleman Jade Warshaw joins me, and we're here for you this hour, 888-825-5050. 888-848-5225. Before we get to the phones, it's time for our Ramsey Show question of the day, brought to you by Y-Refi. With Y-Refi, you can take control of your defaulted private student loans with a plan that works with your monthly budget. Visit yrefi.com/Ramsey. That's the letter Y, REFY.com/Ramsey. It may not be available in all states.
All right. Today's question comes from Catherine in Indiana. She says, how do I rationalize having a $1,000 emergency fund when I could be using it to pay off debt? I've lived paycheck to paycheck for 25 years, and I've always managed to cash flow any emergency. I have a hard time rationalizing putting money in the bank now when I could put it towards credit card debt. I can't get past this feeling that having savings is for those people and not me.
Fascinating.
That is fascinating. I mean, let me tackle this from a couple of areas. First and foremost, I want to say that when I first started the baby steps, I felt the same way. I was like...
Oh, you did?
Yes.
You were so intense, because this says intensity to me.
Let me tell you, I specifically remembering arguing with Sam because he was like, Jade, we have to walk the steps the way they're written. And I was like, but we need this $1,000 to go towards our credit card payment.
Which I understand that.
Yeah, because you're desperate. And so you're like trying to like put out the fires and stop the bleeding. So I validate the way you're feeling. However, what changed my mind is kind of what you said here, which is for 25 years, you've been living paycheck to paycheck, which means your way hasn't been working.
That's right.
That's really, and so I had to do the same thing. I had to go, here's the thing. I'm in $460,000 of debt.
Right.
My way and my instincts have not served me well up until this point.
But was there, but I also know you. You're probably one of the most principled, convicted people I know, and that's a compliment.
Yes.
So what changed? Was it something that Sam said? What made you finally go? And I know you just kind of said it, but there had to be something
there was an
before
I've had it
that.
moment. There was an I've had it moment.
What was it?
The I've had it moment was because we didn't have the $1,000, because we were trying to put out fires as they came, we weren't making as much progress as we should have been making. And not having that extra little bit of money when unexpected things come up, I just felt like we were taking, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, just going very, very slowly. And I just remember one time just being like, pull the car over. We've got to figure this out. And when we did that, we kind of looked at the baby steps, and it was kind of like an audit. It was like, okay, what are we doing versus what the steps tell you to do? And what we found is there were a lot of inconsistencies, and the $1,000 emergency fund was one of them. It was like, okay, you're supposed to have $1,000. We didn't have that. When you budget, you're supposed to have a cushion line item. We didn't have that because I was like, $0, zero-based budget is $0 in the account. I felt that.
Yeah, sure.
And so these are the things that we do, especially when you have a lot of debt, especially when you're trying to go quickly. You kind of think, that doesn't apply to me.
Yeah.
And all you see it as money that you could be spending. But I'm telling you, Catherine, do the $1,000.
Very personal answer there, which is powerful.
Yeah.
You felt her.
I did.
Yeah.
And I also understood the third part of this, which is if you've never, so many people struggle with saving. If you've never been a person who has had savings, or you've never been able to make it stick, right? You put it in and then you pull it out. It feels like you'll never be able to do it.
Yeah.
But if you just take that money, you set it aside, you put a lock on it, you will find that savings is a muscle that you build. And you're probably right now you don't have any muscles. And so you have to just work at it, and you get stronger and stronger, and that becomes something that you do become good at.
Love it. Really good question. Better answer. Love it. Let's go to Austin, who's now joining us in Salt Lake City. Austin, how can we help?
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Good. What's going on?
I had a question for you. My wife and I are currently on baby step 2. We do have 2 cars that we have, about between the 2 of them, about $20,000 on one and just under $10,000 on the other. We're looking at downsizing right now just to help put more toward other debts and kind of get rid of those big payments. But I know on one of the cars we're probably about $3,000 to $4,000 upside down in it. And so I'm trying to figure out, we do need 2 cars with our kind of work and my kids' school situations. We really do need 2 cars to survive, but I don't have the cash to, if we were to sell my wife's car, I don't have the cash to cover that upside down amount, that $3,000 to $4,000 to get the lien. So what's the best way to go about this? I guess, is it
quick question.
To keep that car? Or?
How much do you owe on that car?
So hers is between 19 and 20. I don't remember the exact amount. I think it's like 19.4 on hers.
Is it a good car?
It's a decent car. Yeah, it's a pretty nice SUV that we like. We have 3 kids, so it fits all the kids and all the stuff that we need. And
is that the one that's upside down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one that's upside down.
What other debt do you have?
We do have about $60,000 in student loans as well. Other than that, we don't have anything else. We're currently renting, so we don't have a mortgage, no credit cards, nothing else.
What's your income?
My main job salaried at 75, and then I have a couple side gigs that bring in about $5,000 to $10,000 a year.
Okay, so every month, what do you see? Like on a normal month, what do you see on the paychecks?
My direct deposit's about 54, and then between my side gigs, it really fluctuates month to month. But we've currently budgeted at that 5,400 amount because my other side gigs are pretty, like, it's not consistent. It's kind of up and down, and it ebbs and flows. So
I mean, how quickly using the side gig? How quickly, if you really said I'm going to focus in on the side gig, how quickly could you save up $3,000 since you're only since your budget is based on the 5,400? How quickly could you do that?
It'd be probably 2 to 3 months.
Okay. And what is the side gig?
I'm an architectural drafter, so I work for a home builder. That's my full-time gig, designing house plans, and then on the side I do it as well.
Okay. Jade, I don't know where you're at, but I'm leaning towards, I think he should just pay this car off.
I definitely think that you could pay it off. The only thing that's throwing me a loop is the $60,000 in student loans. If it was just the cars, I'd be like, say less, like pay them both off. The $60,000 student loans is what's bothering me. Can I dig a little deeper and ask you, what's the payment situation? Are you on the save plan? There's a lot changing with student loans right now, so I just kind of want to know where your head's at on those.
Yeah, great question. So currently we are on that save plan, but with the uncertainty of like whether that's actually going to be approved or not. So all of mine and my wife's loans are currently in forbearance, so we're at 0 interest, 0 payments right now. And so we haven't been paying on them for the last few months to put more toward our car loans and do that. So that's currently where we're at. But I'm also like, I don't want to just let those sit there without making payments on them. But we are starting with those smaller car debts as well to get rid of those. So
the student loans, those feel like a major risk right now. Save plan, a lot of people have been on that to kind of curtail a higher payment, but there's a lot of talk about that being rolled back and the payment amount being due going up. And so I would hate for that to catch you off guard. For that reason, I could be interested in downsizing the lower car or the $20,000 car. What's the $10,000 car? What type of vehicle is that?
It's a sedan. It's a Subaru Legacy that I drive, and I do. So that's my commuter car. I commute about 35 minutes every day. I could sell that for pretty much what it's worth. I'm not upside down on that one at all, but I would need something. So I don't necessarily have the cash to go buy another cheaper vehicle.
Yeah,
right now,
I wouldn't get rid of that.
That's another question.
I would not get rid of that one. Here's where I'm at. I like that you're using your skill set to make money, like extra money on the side, but it feels like it's a slow go. I wonder if there's something else that you could do that you can make a lot more money a lot faster. Because I think that if you're going to hang on to this $20,000 car, you've got to have a number in your head that you're committed to. Like every month, we're bringing in an extra X amount of dollars. So it's probably you and your wife sitting down. How many kids did you have again?
We have 3.
3. And what are their ages?
6, 3, and 1.
Okay. Whew, Lordy. All right. I think it's you and your wife sitting down and saying, honey, what margin of time do you have? And looking at the other and saying, okay, well, what margin of time do you have? And then putting your heads together and say, this is the amount of money that we're agreeing on that we need to bring in extra every single month so it's steady. And if you can do that, then you can keep this car. But just know those student loans are waiting for you in the wings.
Yeah, that's right. But they can do this.
Yeah.
I mean, this is doable. So you got options there. I like it. All right, good stuff. All right, fun hour. It went fast. That means I think we were having fun, Jade.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, good. All right. That would have been awkward had you said no.
Well, I'm just kidding.
I know. This is The Ramsey Show.
Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
This is the Ramsey Show, America. We're thrilled to have you with us. You're welcome. We want to coach you up to win with your money, to win in your profession and win in your relationships. 888-825-5225 is the number. The chuckle you heard in the background was none other than my good friend and co-host Jade Warshaw. She's going to try to keep me on track as well as give you great money advice, so pray for her.
Well, you said you're welcome. You're
welcome.
Well,
you thought it was like we're blessing them with our presence, and I was thinking, you are welcome.
Got you. Like, you are welcome here with us.
You are welcome here on the show. We want to help you.
I hear you. Yes, Ken.
I have to work better. I think my personal brand is making you think one thing. No, I'm just happy to be here. Let's go to Margie in Chicago, Illinois. Margie, how can we help today?
Hi, thanks for taking my call. Just wanted opinion and see your thoughts on where we are today. So I'm 60 years old. I work full-time still. And I bring home, I'm a 1099 contract, but it is a renewing contract. It's just everybody's 1099. And my husband is 68 and he's retired. And he brings home, I make $90,000 and my husband brings home about $6,200 with Social Security and pension. I think we're on the right track, but he feels that we have enough money to... He's not a big spender, but it's the nickel and dime where we go out to dinner, some unnecessary purchases, small purchases.
Is it in the budget?
No. You know, I did write in initially in an email, and we don't have a budget. So I know that's going to be do the $1 thing, but we do manage to get into savings every month. We both manage to make sure that there's enough for my income tax that I have to pay on because I'm 1099.
How much do you bring in?
I bring in $90,000. Oh, a month, $7,500.
75. Is that after the taxes or before?
Well, that's before, and then I divvy it up into the bank accounts, taxes, and then we are able to save for the top dollar Roth that we put into annually.
What's yours after the taxes come out?
Oh, geez, after the taxes, it's probably like $4,300 because that's income and property tax.
Okay.
So we have virtually no debt. We have $9,000 left on our mortgage, no car payments, no credit cards. We have like $16,000 in our emergency, and then like $50,000 in our high yield account.
Okay.
So. And I just keep saying, and we have $600,000 in retirement savings.
Okay.
But I just keep saying we still can't just frivolously, always go out. It's expensive to go out to dinner. And he thinks I'm so frugal. And I'm like, no, we still need to save for retirement because I do want to retire.
Well, I think that the crux of all of this is without a budget, everything's a guess, right? It's like, right. I think that this is probably not good, or I think that we don't have enough, but you really don't know, or you think that this is outside of our range, but you really don't know because there's no set limit that's really telling you. So I think thing number one is if you guys get a budget, an every dollar budget, it's going to take a lot of guesswork out of what you're saying because it sounds like you bring home $10,500 every month. That's a lot of money, right. Especially for people who don't have debt. And so I think that if you guys do a budget, and in the budget, of course, you're adding the things that are very necessary, right? Your mortgage and your 15% that's going towards retirement and all of the other little, things that you guys are paying for. And if you just say, okay, and our restaurant budget is $500 a month, and our, right. Saving for vacations, we're putting away this much a month. I think that that's going to be eye-opening for you. I really do, because you guys clearly have done a fine job saving. You've done a fine job getting your emergency fund. You got $50,000 in the HYSA, which, by the way, what's that $50,000 earmarked for?
Just for lack of another word, anywhere else to put it. It's not earmarked for anything. It's just
there, extra money.
The $16,000 in emergency is over abundance from what you guys talk about, but that's in case we want to do something for the house or we want to I don't know. We don't even really touch it. It grows, and then we move it over to high yield. So,
okay.
And that's just because we can't give any more to Roth.
Yeah. So
we can only do the 16. So
you've got a couple options. I love that you've got the emergency fund there. That's exactly what it's there for. The $50,000, yeah, maybe that's there for fun things that you want to do. If you want to take a trip, if you need to do something for the house, that's there for that. If you feel like it's too much, you could invest some of it into a brokerage to where it's still gaining a better interest rate over time. You don't have to, but you could. What are you investing? What's the dollar amount that you're investing every month at this point?
I'm sorry. I'm confused by that.
Did you tell me that you're still putting money into investments?
Oh, I just do a one-time drop-in after the first of the year because you have up to like April. Mm-hmm. So I just give that to our financial advisor, $16,000, eight for him, my husband, and 8 for me.
Okay, $16,000 every year. Okay, yeah. Got it. Okay, yeah. So you're doing that.
I mean, I could give it to her monthly if I wanted to. I could give it to her monthly, but yeah.
Okay. Then I think that tell me if I'm wrong, but I think a budget is what's going to unlock all of this. I think so.
I think at the heart of the question, though, Margie, from what I heard, it was you're trying to get you and your husband on the same page. You're using frugality, and you want a little bit more of a plan. You want to get ahead a little bit more. And he's going, man, I kind of want to enjoy life. We got enough. Is that the tension?
It is, and I keep saying every time he wants to go out, or we have a couple kids with a grandchild, and if we all go out to dinner, that's easily $200 in a week. Right. Or so more than
Okay, so So I think everything that Jade said is spot on, and I think that what she's saying is absolutely the key to you finally getting you and your husband on the same page with the budget. If you treat this budget for him as not this frugality play, but actually an intentionality play. In other words, he's kind of just, it's tension every time you try to say, hey, I'd like to be a lot tighter, all the things. I mean, Jade gave you the way to do it. But I think to get him on board, it's less of a message of being tight and frugal. I think it's got an emotion on it that he doesn't like, and I don't think it's going to break through. This is my hunch. But if you come at it and say, hey, this is going to allow us to spend like you want to spend, but still we make the progress in these areas over here. And I think by doing what Jade told you, so it's everything she said, all I'm saying is the way you couch it, this isn't manipulative. It's just speaking to his desire to live. He wants to live. See, you go, Ken. I hit the nerve. That's why you're laughing.
Well, yeah, because we take one vacation a year. We're not travelers, but we do enjoy a vacation.
But I think that I think you're doing better than you think you are, because when I plug your numbers and I go, okay, she's 60, he's 68, he's gonna bring in 6,200 for forever until this point on. If you continue that on for the next 7 years, you're gonna have what you're doing right now with the investing that you're doing right now. You'll have almost $1.4 million. Right? So if you just lived off the interest, which was $140,000, I'm not accounting for inflation, that's far more than you're earning now. So you don't even have to live. You could live off of $70,000 and be exactly where you are now. You are good, mama.
Yeah. And just meet him in the middle. The budgeting is for planning and intentionality, but give him some space. Give him his, fund. Whatever that is, you guys put it in the budget, and that way he's got some margins, and you guys are okay. Fun stuff, really fun call. All right, we got to take a quick commercial break because got to pay them bills.
Hey, you guys, health insurance costs are only moving one way, and that way isn't down. And if higher costs aren't enough, the wait times to see your doctor are longer, and it's harder than ever to get anything approved through the bureaucracy. So, if you feel like the system is working against you, try a biblically based alternative to health insurance, Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is a health cost-sharing ministry that's helped hundreds of thousands of families like yours take care of over $11 billion in medical bills since 1981. CHM has also helped them stay true to their values and avoid miles of red tape. And CHM support goes far beyond meeting financial needs. They also help meet spiritual needs. Members become part of a family who will pray with them and for them when they experience a medical event. So listen, y'all, There's a better way to take care of healthcare costs. CHM programs start as low as $98 a month. So learn more today and join at chministries.org/budget. That's chministries.org/budget.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me, and we're here for you, America, 888-825-5225. Let's go to Newark, New Jersey. Jeremy is there. Jeremy, how can we help?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great. How are you, sir?
Better than I deserve.
Oh, I like that. I should use that.
Yeah, right? Okay, so basically, I'll try to make it quick. Right now, I am working a job in construction. Last year, I made about $150,000. But I have an opportunity, I guess you could say, in the same field, the same construction. But the thing is, I'll be making significantly less money, I guess, in the first couple of years, but then it'll kind of even out, and then I'll at some point make more after, I think, like 4 years. The new position would, the new position would be a lot less labor intensive, a lot easier on the body.
Okay.
People that are in my role right now in my current company, maybe the guy who's been here the longest has been there for like 10 years, maybe. The people I talked to in the other position have been there for like 30, 40 years.
Okay, so it's going to be easier on your body as a pro. Looks like it has more longevity as a pro. A 40% cut is not a pro. And I'm a guy that has entertained things like this before. But 4 years. So to me, the question, and the only question that I need an answer to on this is, can you absorb that? Is it taking you to a different state or cost of living, or you've got so much margin in your life that 40% won't really be obvious in a painful way? That's what I need to know. What can you sustain that?
I would have to cut a lot of stuff, which I'm perfectly fine with doing myself.
Are you single?
I'm not single. Me and my girlfriend have been dating for a few months now.
Well, you're single as far as I'm concerned,
because she's used to it.
Right. My point is you're not in a marriage situation and you don't have kids, right?
Right.
Do you have debt?
I'm sorry?
Do you have debt?
All I have is a car loan that I actually got once I got this job. I got a little excited making the extra money. So before this job, I was making maybe like $40,000 to $50,000 a year.
Okay, so this was a big jump for you, a major jump.
So what are you making now?
Well, my salary, I guess if I were to work 40 hours a week, would be around 120. I guess last year I did a little bit of overtime, so I made 150.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just I'm going to tell you that you need to be looking for other opportunities that don't require a 40% cut. I understand the physical toll on the body. I do get what you're saying there. I see the longevity play. If I were in your shoes before I did this, I would be making sure that there were no other better options. And I don't believe that that's the case, Jade. I just don't think that's the only option he has.
I'm just trying to understand. So you got this gig that it's paying more than you were making, and you got excited, got the car. This other thing came along. Were you looking for something else? And if so, what was the main driver? Was it the physicality thing that you were like, I can't keep doing this to my body, I got to get out of this? Is that what happened? Or did that just happen to be, part of this?
Well, I work in construction. I'm an operator, right? But I'm not like running. I'm not. How do I say? I'm not running in like an excavator or anything like that.
Yeah.
I'm more operating like a truck.
I'm just getting what I'm trying to get at is for you to tell us why you want to leave this job. Because if you can't articulate a clear reason, then what's the point of leaving it?
Yeah, I don't feel like you're in an emergency situation is what she's getting at. Like, this feels like...
No. It's definitely not an emergency situation at all. It's more like, what can I see myself doing in the long run? It'll be part... Oh, so I should mention also, this is a union job. It'll be part of the same union, just a different kind of like sector, I guess you can say.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I am never going to tell somebody to take a 40% pay cut and sit 4 years in that pay cut to move up in a union. It's too risky. I'm not going to put my future in the hands of the union. Sorry.
So
I'm going to catch hate for that, but that's just what I believe.
It's okay. I get it. So it's not. It wouldn't be a 40% pay cut for 4 years. Like the first year would be 40, the next year 30, next year.
Oh well,
90,
buddy, you buried the lead. You didn't tell us that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
So it raises 10% every year.
I go up 10%. I go up 10% every year until I'm at the 100%.
I personally would. Okay, here's my ruling. I'll let Jay get the last word on it because I've heard enough. I personally would not do this. However, from giving you advice, if you believe this is your best ladder for the future that you want and you can absorb the cut, 40% 1 year, then it's only 30, then 20. And if you can absorb that, not go into debt, and you got enough margin to live comfortably, then I wouldn't hate it, but I would not do it. It sounds like I'm splitting the baby, but I'm not.
No, I get it. This is.
What do you say?
I want to know. I want to know what you owe on the car. I want to know what you owe on this car.
Oh, okay. So on my car, I owe about 30. My plan was, if I were to do this, I would want to pay off my car before I even consider doing it.
Okay. I'm fine with that caveat.
You scored brownie points right there with Jade. You scored some points.
I'm fine with that caveat because what's the payment on the car?
Actually, the payment on the car is about $700 a month.
Exactly. And so you're going to feel that.
That's $8,400 a year, pal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to feel that if you take this other job. And so that would be my caveat to this is, pay that thing off. And then if you want to take
it personally?
I'll be honest. I don't feel like you've made it very clear, Jeremy, what this job is really going to do for you. I'm not sure that, and I'm sure maybe you know it deep down inside, but you didn't make it really, really clear to us. So I'm still struggling with why it feels like something you need to do.
I feel like it's something that I could see myself doing longer than what I'm doing right now, especially with like.
Yeah, but see, that's great.
Like I said, my.
Okay, I'm interrupting.
I'm sorry?
I'm interrupting because my partner figured it out. She got to the core. You're just looking at this as this is good. This is good long term. Mm-hmm. We want great for you. What's going to make Jeremy get fired up on a Monday morning 20 years from now? I don't think this is it. Am I right?
Well, I'll be honest. This has been the only job I've ever had, like the one I'm in right now, where I'm actually excited to go to work. And when I look at the other people doing their thing, I look at them like, I wish I was in their position. And even though I love my job so much, I still kind of wish I was in their position.
That's all that we're getting at.
Okay, now you can.
I mean, that's what you were getting at, and kudos to you. That's what I teach, and I believe it's like, is this the long-term play? And a long-term play that we go, I'm excited about this. Not, it's a good job. It's okay.
Oh, no, I love my job.
Okay, so you do love your job. Okay.
All right.
Then
we've spoken.
Even if the pay was like half of what it is now, I would still love it. Like,
if it's the difference between I love it or I love it more, then you go with the love it more.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Get your house in order financially before you take this move, because you don't want this. You don't want this to be. You don't think, okay, this is going to be fun, and then you get in it and you go, oh, this is a lot harder than I thought. This is. I call it my half marathon decision. I thought, oh, this will be a great test, and it'll be fun training, and it'll be all these things.
Yeah,
and then it was. Your boy got it wasn't. Your boy got into it and was like, I'm a grown man. Why am I out here running for 2 hours on a Sunday afternoon instead of laying on my couch watching golf?
Ken.
Yeah, but I didn't. It wasn't grit that was worth it to me. There wasn't anything. In other words,
there was no payoff.
I thought I'd be motivated to do it, and I was motivated to get through it. Big difference.
Yeah, there is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not like you. This woman, folks, she is an iron woman. I mean, you can just go run marathons. Like, no big deal.
ran a marathon.
Yeah, but the way you train, you're too disciplined for me on that.
Oh no, Ken.
I'll play pickleball for 3-4 hours.
Now that
but I'm not going to go running on the road somewhere for no purpose at all. What am I doing? I'm just trying to run back to the place where my car is. Doesn't make any sense to me. But I digress. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey guys, I'm Jade Warshaw, and I want to talk to you for a second about student loan refinancing. Okay, if your payment and interest rate are burying you and you feel like you can't dig out, refinancing your student loan might make sense because a lower rate could help you free up more money in your budget, and a shorter term could help you pay down your debt faster. So reach out to the student loan refinancing experts today at laurelroad.com/Ramsey. There, you'll find helpful resources like a student loan rate table, a refinancing calculator, and other tools. Plus, you can get an initial rate in just a few minutes. Laurel Road offers low, competitive rates starting under 5%. You can even get your interest rate lower if you sign up for autopay. If your situation is more complex, though, sign up for a free 30-minute consultation with one of their student loan refinancing experts to get your tough questions answered. Listen, not everybody should refinance their student loan, so make sure you run the numbers, but for some people, it's the right move. Learn more at laurelroad.com/Ramsey to find out more about their student loan refinancing. That's laurelroad.com/Ramsey.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me, and we're here for you. 888-825-5225. So I got to give it to you, Jade. We've got a fun email we got from Nate in Michigan. Mm-hmm. And this is fun. It's kind of related to a segment you've done before, asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend. It's whenever you want to know something that you feel you should know at this point in life. Right? You don't want to be today years old where you find out about something that you feel like you should have known forever. And so instead of putting the heat on you and saying, hey, can you tell me about this? You put it on a friend.
Yeah.
Say, yeah, my
imaginary friend.
Asking for a friend, right? Mm-hmm. So Nate from Michigan is asking for a friend. We don't listen. His name is probably not even Nate.
Yeah, that's fine.
He says, I just wanted to know the true meaning behind the phrase cash flow. Okay, sometimes it seems like it means simply the that we paid cash for something, or for example, we cash flowed the building of our house. Right. At other times, it seems like it's a phrase that's being used in a business sense, right? Is the business profitable? Just wondering what that means. Okay, so this is good. He's right. We do kind of use it in two different ways. Yes, 100% cash flow. When we're talking about personal finance, it means being able to use the cash that's flowing in and out of your pocket to pay for things, right? So if I said, oh, I bought a new car and I cash flowed it, it means that I used money that was out of, usually it's monthly cash flow, and said, yeah, I have enough in my monthly money to cash flow this. I don't need to dip into savings. I didn't need to borrow any money, and I used the cash that I had on hand. But there is also a cash flow that we would say in business sense, and it's not much different. I would just say that in business sense, when we say cash flow, we're talking about the movement of money in and out of the business, right? So we're talking about that flow of money. It could be things like inventory or supplies or operating expenses or product sales. It's money flowing in and out of the business. And again, all of those things are things that we're paying for with the cash from the business. So, and it's happening over a period of time. And so it's still this idea that whatever it is that we're paying for, we're using cash for it, whether in a month's notice or over time with cash. So hopefully that provides clarity. I mean, obviously, the best way to take control of your cash flow is to have a budget. And when you do that, you can see how much cash flow is at your disposal. So you could do that with every dollar. If you don't already have it, it's a good thing to have.
And I got to tell you, anytime you can cash flow something, it just feels better than pulling it out of savings. I know that savings is there, but I despise.
I'm with you.
soul hatred.
Yes.
Pulling money out of the big fund, the emergency fund. I
agree.
I don't like it.
It's not even...
I try to cash flow everything.
Yes. Yeah, even something that is a legitimate emergency, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
All right.
That's how I got a free roof, by the way. Yeah.
Tell us more, Ken Coleman, about a free roof.
Short answer is had to replace our roof. Not thrilled about it.
But hit me with the free part.
So I started thinking, I got to get this situation. I don't want to pull out of that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, so the guy comes up, he wants to do the roof. I said, look, here's the deal. We're very connected in the neighborhood. You do a good job. I help you get business. Oh. How you feel about that?
Oh.
He says, tell me more. We talk. Then he says, all right, I'll tell you what. I can get it to a point where it's just your deductible. So I thought, okay, I like that. So he calls insurance up because insurance had previously denied us. Mm-hmm. He gets on the phone with them, makes the case.
That's
insurance
great.
Says we'll cover it. Then it's a deductible. So I go back to him and I go, how about you guys eat my deductible? I get the free roof, and in turn, I promote your company in my neighborhood through some social and through some key people that I know.
Yeah.
He says, I'll do it.
Holy smokes.
And guess what? We've got him 4 different roofs. So I just thought, wow. I don't want to touch. Then I got aggressive. Like, so I went from, I don't want to.
It made you come up with better ideas.
And I didn't want to have any cash come out. So I took my shot. Well, the worst he could say is no.
Yeah.
So guess what? He's now had 4 roofs that I'm aware of that came directly from us. Now he's in the neighborhood. Wow. So I'm just saying.
Next on the list is you start taking a cut.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Commission.
Yes, sure. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Is. That's true. That is
Am
very
I right?
true.
That's the point of forget the details of my story.
You're exactly right.
I started trying to get creative with how I wouldn't have to touch my emergency fund. Because it came out of the blue.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a problem we didn't know about. So now I'm like, come on, man.
Ken, good job. Yeah. That's all I can say.
Fun stuff. Sean is on the line in Denver, Colorado. Sean, how can we help?
How are you guys?
Doing well, sir. What's going on?
Good. So my question is, my wife and I, we had a couple issues with the bank and our mortgage, and our mortgage rate is actually increasing to a point that this is the second time it's increased, and it's getting to a point that the monthly payments are getting a little steep, and so we do have about $35,000 in savings. Not sure if that's usable in this case, but not quite sure what to do next.
Is this an adjustable rate?
So it actually started out as a 30-year fixed. We were at 3.8%, and the bank called us a couple days before closing and said, hey, we accidentally wrote up your loan documents for a stick-built home, and you guys have a manufactured home, so we're going to have to rewrite those. So they did, and we had to sign again, and that was about a month's difference, so our rate went from 3.8 to 4.5. And then about a day before closing, they called and said, well, our bank sells these mortgages and nobody wants to buy this one, so we're going to have to drop you guys again. But they had a third solution, and my wife actually works for this particular bank, and part of the employee benefits package is they help you get into a first home.
Okay.
Which sounds good. And so what they did is they said, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll get you guys a mortgage. We'll keep you at the 4.5%.
Okay.
And in 3 years, you guys can go ahead and refinance with us. We'll keep your rate and we'll lock you in for 30 years. It'll be great.
Okay.
And so it's the end of those 3 years now. And should have read the loan documents a little closer. They aren't going to keep the rate. It's actually going up 2%.
Oh, man. And so it had to lock in at whatever the rate is? Like, is that the current rate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So, I mean, we're still at the point that it's affordable.
Well, tell me numbers-wise what it's gone up. It went from what to what?
So we were paying $2,500 a month, and now it'll be $3,500 a month.
My guy. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
you're feeling that.
Is, how would the $35,000 even help you? Because you're going to have to refi. Mm-hmm. Theoretically, can you?
Yeah, and so this is only good. What they did was they came back and said, hey, we did make a mistake in the beginning for you guys. So what we'll do is we'll only raise you 1% this year and then 2% next year, and we'll extend your loan for 2 years.
I tell them to pound sand. That's like said, I made the mistake, so I'm only going to penalize you on my mistake this much.
But you're still gonna feel it. They're just spreading it. It's like like spreading out your punishment.
You any favors.
You get one whooping today, and then you get one whooping.
Is there something with your house?
Year from now?
Is there something with the type of house, because it's a manufactured house, that's why nobody wants these loans?
I think so. Yeah, because there's only one buyer for this bank that buys manufactured home loans, and they ended up being, they were full at the time. They couldn't take any more loans, so that's what happened as well.
Do you have any equity in this house at all?
It looks like it. When I look at the estimate online, it says it's gone up about $100,000 from when we purchased it 3 years ago.
If it was me, now Jay, tell me if I'm being too aggressive here, but I'd get out of this house. Instead of keep messing with this, if it's true that he's only got one lender who will play ball with him, he's going to keep getting jacked around here.
I have a couple questions. At the end of this 3-year term, whether they do it all at once or over the 3-year, you get slapped a little bit each year. Is that the end? And what you
so we only have 2 more years, and then we have to. That's it. The loan's matured, and we either need to refinance with them or with somebody else.
I mean,
preferably.
Do you love
25
the house?
seconds.
Do you love the house?
Yes.
Okay. Your choices are: you find a way to get $1,000 more in your income, because you can't. If you don't do that, this is going to drain everything. So if you don't find a way for you and your wife to bring in $500 a piece every month that's sustainable, you can't keep this house, because...
Sell it.
Yeah.
I'm all for selling it, man. And rent for a while and get yourself a house that doesn't have these kind of limitations.
Or maybe it's you paying off debt and freeing that up in monthly payments.
Yeah. This is the Ramsey Show.
If you need health insurance for yourself or your family, you might be lost in a maze of confusing terms, overwhelming options, and questions about networks. Not to mention high costs and bad service from insurance companies that don't care about what you want. Common concerns like those are why I'm proud to recommend Health Trust Financial. They've been working with Ramsey for over 20 years, and they're the only Ramsey-trusted health insurance broker. Health Trust Financial takes an unbiased approach to finding you the best health insurance for your situation. They listen to your needs, and because they work for you, not the insurance companies, their service is free, with no obligations and no pressure. Here's the best part. Health Trust Financial customers typically save an average of $500 a month. Health Trust Financial is your one-stop shop for unbiased advice about health insurance options to make sure you don't overpay. So get out of the maze by going to healthtrustfinancial.com today. healthtrustfinancial.com.
This is the Ramsey Show. I'm Ken Coleman. Jade Warshaw is with me, and we're thrilled to have you. 888-825-5225. 888-825-5225. We get calls, it feels like almost daily, from people who are launching a side business. They want to make some more money, whether that to be pay for college, pay off debt, build up retirement, or it's just about living the dream. And building a business and running that business effectively over the long haul is very, very difficult. And that's why we're very excited that Dave's got a brand new book out called Build a Business You Love. He's unpacking what it took to take this business from a card table to where it is now, over $250 million business. So it is the baby steps for running a business. That's the way Dave describes it. Mm-hmm. You can pre-order it now for $29.99, and you're going to get over $350 in free bonus items just for purchasing it ahead of time. You get to pre-order it, and it comes to you when it releases. You can pre-order today at RamseySolutions.com/store. That's RamseySolutions.com/store. or the link is in the show notes if you're on YouTube or podcast. All right, to the phones we go. Patricia is joining us now in Long Island, New York. Patricia, how can we help?
Hi, thank you. It's great to be talking to you. I actually just heard of Dave Ramsey like 6 or 8 weeks ago, and I've been listening compulsively since then, and a lot of it has resonated with me.
Great.
My deal is I went through a devastating divorce about 18 years ago. It left me financially stripped. I've worked hard since then, put the kids through college on my own, and what's killing me now is the Parent Plus loans. I just paid off my car from having listened to Dave, so thank you for all that advice from your area. And I only have one other debt, which is $2,000. So these Parent Plus loans are about $87,000, and I am already not a spring chicken. So the retirement years are scaring me to death, so I'd like a little direction.
Okay.
I'm curious about the kiddos that you helped out with these loans. What are they doing now?
Well, my daughter is now in a good spot, but she just began, so that's not, they have their part of their loans and I have my part.
Oh, okay, so the 87 is your deal, just yours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I should have asked that right out of the gate. Sometimes I'm wondering if parents are paying everybody else's or just yours. So, okay. All right. So you've got the 87. What's your income?
It's just under 70.
Just under 70. Okay. And is that your only debt at this point? You mentioned you paid off the car. Is this it?
That and a $2,000 something.
These Parent Plus loans and then another $2,000 loan.
Another $2,000 loan. Okay. And that's just a personal loan.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And what do you have saved? Do you have anything saved?
Yes, I started a high-yield savings account from you all's advice.
Okay.
I have a couple of IRAs. One is an IRA, one is an IRRA. Mm-hmm. I have checking and savings.
What's in your IRA? And what's in your HYSA?
The HYSA is 5 because I just started it.
5K.
The two IRAs. I'm trying to look at all my papers here. Come out to about
40,000. Okay. And anything else? Any other money anywhere we should know about?
Well, checking is about 45. Saving is about 290.
When you say 45, you mean 4,500 or 40? Like, tell me real. 4,500, 45.
Sorry. 45,000.
45,000 in checking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Another savings account is 21,000.
Okay, good.
And that's pretty much it.
Okay, so the good news, what I'm really excited about, Patricia, is you've got money laying around, which we need. So if I wrote everything down correctly, obviously the 40,000 that's in the IRAs, we can't touch that. But you've got 45,000 sitting here, plus another 21,000. So that's giving me 66,000 right there.
Yeah.
That's the majority of these bills knocked out. And technically, because you're in debt, I know you're not going to like this, but because you're in debt, that HYSA needs to go down to 1,000, and we can take the other 4,000, and now suddenly you've paid off $70,000 of debt in one day.
I was afraid you were going to say that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you called in, you didn't say, my biggest problem is I'm scared to spend my savings. My biggest problem is I'm afraid that I won't be able to. You said the biggest problem is these student loans. And you're right. Those being around your neck is the biggest problem. So if you can knock those out, how old are you?
I'm 68.
68. If you can knock those out and get them out of your hair, how much money a month does that free up in payments?
High 700s.
Yeah. High 700s.
Yeah.
Think how much you can live off that. You can invest some of that. Like that really does clear things up for you. Now, then once we pay off this debt, now we have to look at, okay, like you said, long term, what's the retirement strategy? But A1 is we've got to get out of this debt, because if we've got this kind of debt, who cares what the retirement strategy is?
That's right.
I know. I've just been living in worry.
Yeah. So I think that
so long.
I think paying these off is going to be your best bet, and it's going to be painful. But then we have to turn around and say, okay, what's your living situation? Are you a buyer? Are you a renter? What's going on there?
I rent.
You rent. Okay. So your goals are to try to find stability in this situation. So right now, the debt is causing instability. Probably being a renter is causing a level of instability. My guess is that when you retire, you'd probably want to buy something and have that as a fixed number on your, on your budget. So I think those are the big goals here. I think in your mind, you have to go, okay, like I'm working another 6 years or so, and I'm piling away as much cash as I possibly can to try to make that happen. But first on the list is these student loans and, making sure that you and your kids are sticking to what you agreed to pay. Because are they sticking to their end of the bargain?
Yeah, as far as I know. We don't talk about it much, but...
I think you do need to talk about it because are both of their names on it or just yours?
Oh, no, these are just Parent Plus loans for me. It's just my name.
Okay, because if they don't pay theirs, then it's still affecting you. Right. And at that point, it's like, well, what was the point of you even paying your part if they're not paying their part? Right.
Well, theirs are separate from mine.
Oh, OK. I thought you were saying that they had agreed to pay part of the Parent Plus loans.
Oh, no. We split everything from the beginning. They have their loans and I have mine.
OK, I see. Well, in that case, yeah, full speed ahead on paying off this $87,000, clearing your name on that. It's going to free up so much more income in your month to month, mental space. You're going to have a lot more peace. And then you can really see clearly and go, okay, what to do with this $40,000. The good news is it's tucked away. It's going to continue to grow. It's not a lot of growth, but with possible Social Security, you've got your work cut out for you, but at least you're making steps forward. In a situation like this, there's always a measure of peace that can be acquired. So you're going from where you are now, you pay these loans off, you've got even more peace. You start figuring out long-term what you want your living situation to be, you've got even more peace. And so we're just taking it one piece at a time.
Yeah. And listen, Patricia, there will come a point where you got to think about selling stuff, making extra money, and you go, okay, what can I do every month? Could I make $1,000 a month in additional money that would go towards the loan, or is it $2,000? You start to play with these numbers, and at some point when you begin to deliver on this, you're going to see the momentum, and you will be able to get rid of this, and which will give you a chance to retire with some dignity. So you're going to have to be intense. Yeah. But this is actually very doable, but a lot of intensity over a short amount of time will get you there.
Yeah, I've tried, the side hustles and
no, you're doing it. You paid your car off. How expensive was that car loan you told us about?
$17,000.
Come on.
So you're doing it.
It's not like you don't have any track record here. So get your chin up, Patricia. All right?
No, I know. I've done a few things right, and I've never been one who depended on credit cards a lot. I don't like them.
You're a good lady.
I've
You're
done
a good mom.
A few things right along the way.
Hey, no shame in your game. I'm not kidding you. Shame will hold us back from breaking through stuff like this. So you're okay. No shame in this show at all for you. That's why we do this. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, what are you still doing here? You know the rest of the show's happening on the Ramsey Network app, right? So you got to jump over there to continue watching. You can download it for free. Just go to your app store, type in Ramsey Network. It's completely free, and I'll drop a link in the show notes to make it easy for you. So if you're watching on the app, you're in luck. But if you're watching anywhere else, this show is over for you. So jump onto the app and let the fun continue. All right. Go on now. Don't make it weird. Okay, I got nowhere to go, so you need to go. Okay, bye-bye now. All right, it's getting weird over there, guys. What do we do?